What's up, guys? Atapark here, and today I want to talk to you about bringing new people into your guild. Now, specifically, I want to talk about groups of people. We're talking couples, we're talking family members, we're talking maybe friends, we're talking guild members that are looking for a new home or something like that, where there's multiple people that all have a vested interest in everyone else within the group and are going to possibly push their agenda and protect each other when they are in your group. So what I want to do is start by telling you guys a story, kind of a misstep that happened to me and my guild about 2 weeks ago, because I want to share with you the potential issues that you could see that you could face if you aren't careful. So about, like I said, 2 weeks ago, I logged in Tuesday right before the raid. My Tuesdays, just so you guys know, as far as raiding goes, very busy. Because obviously, weekly reset, I'm trying to get, who did their mythic pluses and, any requests for this or that. Plus, I have a lot of personal life stuff going on, especially on Tuesdays. My kids got to get ready for school and homework and dinner and, cleaning and dog and all this stuff. So Tuesdays are very busy for me. So I logged in 8:55. We're ready to start the raid, and I shoot out invites. And one of my raid members approaches me and whispers me, and he says, "Hey, the two guys that I have been trying to get over here, my friends, are finally over here." Now, previously, months ago, we're talking Nighthold era, I was told maybe towards the end of Nighthold. Honestly, it was so long ago, I forgot. I was told by one of my raiders that, hey, I have two friends. They're looking for a home. They're really good raiders. They want to come over. I'm going to get them over. They're going to transfer. They're going to come over. They're what you need. We have a healer. We have a DPSer. It's what we need. They're going to come over. And it kept going on and on. But they never came over. And like I said, me and my officers, we kind of figured, okay, they're either not interested. They're not willing to pay the money. They're not coming over. They've forgotten about it. Something happened. We're not getting these guys. Well, lo and behold, like I said, 2 weeks ago, they show up. Well, it put everyone in a very weird situation for several reasons. One, we had some shuffling when Tomb of Sargeras came out, and especially towards the end, where Blizzard has done an amazing job of making alts very easy to gear up, leveling up your weapon and getting your gear and all this stuff very easy to do. Well done, Blizzard. Well done indeed. But it put us in a weird situation where I have two tanks. I have a healer who just left because he's getting a new job and the schedule. He doesn't have time to raid. He wants to take a break. Cool. That means you guys that have watched my videos know I support you. And my guild members know I support you. Life comes first. But now we're down a healer. And so I'm talking to my officers and I'm like, of everybody in the raid group, the easiest thing to replace is going to be DPS. And I have experience healing. So I will just transfer over. And I actually had mentioned it in one of my YouTube videos, I don't know, a week or two ago about, I might be switching my main character. And lo and behold, well, we did, but not exactly the way we thought it was going to go. So leveled up this, or rather geared up this paladin, got him to 916, 915, 914, somewhere around there. We were doing Tomb of Sargeras. We were knocking out bosses. And then this healer shows up, and it's another paladin. So now we have an overabundance of healers. We have these two players that I wasn't expecting, that weren't factored into anything. And to top it off, and this is where I made the biggest mistake, is I talked to the guy that, there's a couple, it's a guy and a girl. I talked to the boyfriend, and he said, "Hey, look, I'm going to bring my character. This is my main. However, my girlfriend, she wants to bring her mage. If she needs to switch over to a paladin, just say something, she'll switch over." Cool. Well, an hour and a half, 2 hours into the raid night, I forget about this. And we're looking at logs and we're analyzing what's going on. And, no offense to her, and I think she knew it at the time, she was a detriment to the raid. And I've told you guys, and I tell my guild, I will keep you as long as you're not a detriment to the raid. And so one of my officers reached out to me and said, "Hey, look, her DPS is super low. We're going to sit her." I support it. Thumbs up. Go for it. Well, we sit her, and her boyfriend whispers me and says, "Hey, look, I'm not going to raid without her." And he leaves the raid. So now we're like, okay, this is already drama. And my guild, I mean, we're a bunch of adults. We don't really feel like dealing with drama, but now we have drama. So we carry on through the raid, and these guys are still in Discord. And we get done with the raid, and I asked them, I was like, hey, let's all jump in the officer channel, and we all group up together. And the raider that initially brought these guys into the guild, into the raid, absolutely pissed, frustrated, angry, etc. And he just blew up on us. Mostly right. The sentiment was correct. The attitude was not. He later, has since apologized. And we also made several mistakes. We sat a player who we had totally forgotten this was not her main. She was just here to kind of get carried, hey, there's free gear. Cool. But we forgot that she was not on our main, and we sat her. And not only did that happen, which she was fine with, but we also had some of the guys in guild chat, which she was a part of, start trash talking her, that she was doing shit DPS, that she needed to get good, etc. Again, they were correct. She was doing low DPS, but everyone had kind of cleared it from the get-go, and I fucked up and forgot that she was on an alt, that she was not at all interested or, was considering changing her main, but she didn't. So in the end, what happened was, at least for the time being, and I really hope this holds true, we sat down, we talked about it, the next, I think last week. So we let like a whole week go by. And I got an apology from the original guy, my original raid member, who said, look, I was pissed, I was angry, I was frustrated, you guys fucked up, but you were correct, in sitting her. You were correct in how you handled it. You've been very nice to her. You gave her free gear. You gave her all the loot that she wanted, putting it above other people because it's the end of the tier and we're kind of cooling down and, we're just kind of, we're cruising right now. We're waiting for the next raid to come out. So you guys totally hooked her up, and you weren't dicks to her. You just sat her, but other people were jerks to her and were kind of pissed off about that. And she said the same thing, that, you guys are dumb that you forgot about my paladin, my healer, but you totally hooked me up with loot, and you guys have been pretty cool and stuff. And as of right now, we're great. We have been totally cool. I really enjoy raiding with them from a raider perspective. I really enjoy them being part of the raid group from a guild leader, from a raid leader perspective. There are things that we need to clean up, things that, we need to get used to them doing this, and they need to get used to us doing that. But by and large, it's a win. But there was the potential, and it was a little bit iffy whether they were going to stay because they were linked. And that's something that I want you guys, when you're recruiting, when you are talking to people, I want you guys to be careful about. Because you run the risk when you have these linked players, we'll dub them. So by that I mean, obviously, this boyfriend and girlfriend, family members, friends from other guilds who are going to instinctively protect each other, who are going to, and I'm trying to hold back a sneeze here, who are going to instinctively protect, who are instinctively going to side with, who are going to instinctively follow each other. And so you need to be very careful that you, one, lay the ground rules from the get-go. That you go, look, here's the deal. If one of you is a detriment to the raid, I will sit you. If one of you is unable to perform, I will sit you. You guys need to understand that that is the reason why I'm sitting you. If none of you guys can agree to this, we're going to have problems. We're going to have issues. And you may honestly, if there is the thought in your mind, if you get a feeling that you don't think that they can accept this, don't bring them into the raid. Don't bring them into the guild. Because, again, you run the risk of this very shitty situation of, logging in, you start pulling, somebody does something stupid, makes mistakes, they become a detriment to the raid, and you sit them and you lose 4 people. And if they are in, these, I don't want to say highly prized positions, but, these, if they're a tank, if they're a healer, if they're in a very, highly responsible role, you're just asked out a tank and healer because, you pissed off their mage buddy. That's a dangerous situation to find yourself in. So be very careful that you initially set up those expectations. That you go, look, here's the deal. Here's what will happen. If you cannot accept it as a whole, all of you, or both of you, or the lot of you, or whatever, then find another home somewhere else. And you need to hold them to it. And you need to hold all of them. And we've talked about this. When you're being fair, when you're being just, justice. Go back and look at the leadership traits video where we say, you have to hold all of them to the same standards. That not one of them gets special treatment because of any reason whatsoever. None of them are supposed to get special treatment. Nobody's supposed to get special treatment anyways, but they should especially not get anything. That you should especially be equal to all of them. And you need to be very open and honest with these guys. If they come back and they go, you know what, you sat, Bill, our mage friend, and this is bullshit. I know he's only doing 200k DPS, but if he's not rating, we're not rating. Well, that's when you need to make a judgment call. And you need to go, look, we talked about this when you guys joined the group, that if there's a detrimental player that we're going to sit them, we'll work to fix them, or, depending on what difficulty you're going for. Obviously, the higher the difficulty, and I've talked to you guys about this before, the higher the difficulty, the less likely you are to, I don't want to say necessarily help people, but put up with crap, to deal with this stupidity. So let's say you are willing to help this player out and you're willing to, give them a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance. You can tell that group, look, guys, he was doing poor DPS. He is, failing to raid mechanics. He's getting people killed with, X, Y, and Z spell within the raid. He's wiping us. So we sat him. However, once he fixes these issues, we'll bring him back in. What you do not do, guys, is fold and go, well, I brought this group of 3 or 4 guys over. One of them's a healer. And so if I sit their mage buddy that's doing 200k DPS and failing to mechanics on, a very mechanics heavy boss, that they're going to all leave. So I better bring them back in. No. Bite the bullet, suck it up for a night, call the raid early, and don't give in to that crap. Because I've talked to you guys about this before. Once your raiders, and especially, and I hate to break it to you guys, 99% of your raiders are awesome, amazing people. Or let's say 90%. But as my drill instructor told me many times in boot camp, there's always that 10%. And this is true of anything in life. There's always that 10% that are going to fuck it up, that are going to take advantage, that are going to do the bad thing, that are going to do the wrong thing purposefully. But there are those 10% of people that are going to take advantage of that weakness. That you go, okay, I have this group of people, or I have in my case, a mage that was doing poor DPS. So in order to keep the good players, I'm going to also carry a bad player. That's not fair to the group of players in your entire raid. You have 20 people in your raid and one of them is doing poorly, and you run the risk of losing 2 of them, one of which is not contributing. Or you run the risk of pissing off the other, 17 people within your raid, 16 people within your raid, because you're carrying someone that is failing to mechanics, but gets no repercussions. And that's not fair, that's not justice, that's not cool, and that's not a good and healthy raid environment. So, I'm not saying don't do it, because, like I said, I want to reiterate in case these guys ever watch this video, I'm very happy that they're here. I sat in Discord and I talked to these guys tonight. They're totally cool. They are totally cool people. Again, they have some things that they need to learn that we do. They have to conform to us a little bit, but we also need to expand our minds a little bit and accept that, maybe they have a little bit different way of doing things. But by and large, I'm really glad they're here. But there is, or was, the potential, without laying that groundwork, without laying those ground rules, that things could have gone really bad very quickly, and we could have lost potentially 3 Raiders because of a misunderstanding and miscommunication. Tired officers, tired leadership. Not that it's an excuse, but it could have happened. So just be mindful of all these things. Set expectations. Don't let people push you around. And in the end, if you need to, cut them loose, because it's better than spoiling and corrupting the entire raid group. With that being said, guys, hopefully you like what I'm saying here. If you do, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Both of those things encourage me a great deal, more than you guys will ever understand. I swear to you that, to continue to make more content like this. We are shooting for a different schedule for uploading videos. Hopefully you guys like it. We're going to try to do a little bit more. If there's anything you want to say, put comments in the comment section below. Shoot me a message. And until next time, guys, I'll see you.